Wait, no, I didn't understand, please. No! No! I have played quite a bit of indie games over the years, and still to this day, I have a love-hate relationship with them. I've heard a lot of edgelords over the years say, all indie games suck, I only play Call of Duty, like the true fuckboys they are. But to that, I say you are wrong, Mr. Fuckboy. Have you ever heard of Minecraft? It started as an indie game. Super Meat Boy? Indie game. Limbo? Indie game. Outlast? Indie game. Your Mom? Indie game. See, there are plenty of good indie games out there. But that doesn't mean that there aren't bad ones either. Probably why I have such an awkward relationship with indie games is because they are pretty hit or miss for me. Some games are hot garbage, while others are some of my favorite games of all time. You don't need a big budget and a huge development team to create something spectacular, and nothing screams spectacular more than Undertale. Undertale is a goddamn masterpiece. What makes this game so amazing, you ask? 3 words. Toby motherfucking Fox. This man has created such a simple yet amazing game and soundtrack that has completely blown my mind. Even more impressive is the fact that he did it almost entirely by himself. Fox's early work consisted of making some piano covers for a webcomic called MS Paint Adventures, and some other early works like Earthbound Halloween Hack, which is a ROM hack of Earthbound, made in 2008. In 2015, Fox released a little old indie game called Undertale. I have heard and seen the word Undertale everywhere, and when I say everywhere, I mean everywhere.
Babe, hurry up! We gotta get home! Hurry up! What the fuck?
It's like God said, and let there be Undertale, and that was everywhere. To be completely honest, when it first came out, I had no idea what it was even about, nor did I play it. It wasn't until my buddy Thane said, hey, I think you would like Undertale, and I said, yeah, whatever, buddy, old pal. How about you go get some Wendy's and shut the hell up? Thane would then go get some Wendy's, and indeed shut the hell up for years to come. One day I was just vibe checking myself on YouTube, listening to just some absolute bops from video games, when YouTube decided it was time and I was ready for one of God's greatest gifts. It recommended an Undertale song called Hopes and Dreams. And holy tits, it was amazing. I immediately started listening to the full soundtrack, and I even started using tons of songs from the soundtrack in videos we created. But it wasn't until recently that I just said, frick it, if the music is this good, then the game must be amazing. So, I finally decided to step into the world of Undertale and experience what magical journey Mr. Fox had in store for me. Undertale starts out by saying that 2 races used to rule the world, humans and monsters. Then, one day in a true strap-on versus vibrator fashion, a war broke out. The humans then won the battle and sealed the monsters underground. Many years later, a small child would climb a mountain and fall into a hole leading to the underground, and that is where you, the main character, comes in. Boobs. Yeah, that's a good name. You are immediately greeted by this wonderful flower that tells you all about the underground and how all you need is love.
And then instantly turns into a demon flower and tries to kill you.
But then you are saved by a goat mom lady named Toriel, who takes you in and starts leading you to her house. Along the way, you learn how to play the game essentially by playing through the tutorials. You are told that when you enter combat, you can either kill monsters you run into, or you can spare them. If you choose to kill monsters, your love and EXP increases, while if you choose to spare them, you can receive gold but no love or EXP. Combat in this game is very simple. You just time a perfect hit by lining up the line in the green section. When an enemy attacks, you become a heart and the game turns into a bullet hell game where you dodge the enemy's attacks. An awesome fun detail about the bullet hell sections is that every character you fight has different moves shooting different projectiles at you, from fire to jumping frogs to swords. There are also some enemies that throw colored attacks at you. Blue, which means don't move, and orange, which means move or you will get hurt. These mostly come in forms of lines or swings from a weapon. The spare mechanic is really fun too. You can select the act option and it gives you the ability to talk to monsters, from heckling to complimenting them. Some of the responses from the monsters are priceless, making you feel kind of bad if you decide to kill them. The variety of monsters you come in contact with is really great as well. You meet frogs, mages, knights, and even dogs. Small, cute, fluffy dogs that try to murder you. It's great! The combination of mechanics and talk no jutsu is like nothing I have ever experienced before in video games. It is so much fun. Alongside combat, there are also puzzles in this game that are really well put together and are always a treat to complete. Right out of the gate, there's a room puzzle with plenty of holes that you can fall through down to the lower floor that looks identical to the one up top, but it has leaves on the ground with a sign saying "Don't touch the leaves." Took me a minute to put it together, but needless to say, the puzzles in this game are really fun. You eventually get to Toriel's house and she welcomes you in and says it is your home now. You then eventually say you want to leave the underground and return home, but she tries to stop you by saying it's too dangerous. You have to battle her, and once you kill or spare her, you are able to pass by and continue on your journey.
Did you just kill Goat Mom?
Yeah? Yeah, I killed the goat mom. I felt bad about it, but it was my first time playing. How the hell am I supposed to know? You know what? No, Thane, f*** you. This is my video, and I can kill goat ladies if I want to. After you leave Toriel's home, you set out on a journey to become the very best, like no one ever was. And to return home. Not soon after leaving Toriel's, you run into a strange figure in the woods, and it turns out to be none other than everyone's favorite skeleton, Sans. I have seen Sans memes everywhere and never got it, but now I understand why everyone likes him. He's such a fun character with a very chill and lazy attitude that anyone can relate to. You also meet his brother Papyrus, who is determined to become famous for finding a human and giving it to the king. It's pretty fun listening to the banter between the two brothers, plus the cheesy jokes that they crack just hit different, you know? Papyrus says he wants to take you in and become famous because the king needs 7 human souls to break the barrier and allow monsters to go free and live in the upper world. You then engage in combat with Papyrus. Depending on how you decide to play it out, you can use your words to win over Papyrus. Yeah, you flirt with him. You can even take him out on a date. He's a little bastard though. I mean, I was hitting on him and using all my super secret moves, but then he cucked me. Well, you know what? That's his loss, because I'm a damn catch. There were a lot of enemies that I ran into that were just too hard to spare. It felt like everything I did or said didn't work, so I just decided to bop them out of existence. I swear I didn't want to. They wouldn't stop trying to kill me. You would have done the same thing. You also encounter quite a few different bosses that are pretty tough to fight, from a spider lady to Undyne, the leader of the knights. My favorite was fighting Metaton, a robot created by Dr. Alfie. This was a very fun and creative fight. All the boss fights in this game are very different and fun. Plus, the music is freaking awesome. Every boss has its own music/theme that you get to jam out to while avoiding getting turned into a personal fleshlight. Every song in this game is so well placed and just fits every area or character that it is attached to. You have upbeat boss battle songs, goofy dog barking songs, and everything in between. Every song really makes you feel for the characters and immerse you into the world even deeper. Not to mention that Albert Einstein himself has scientifically proven that the Undertale theme song is one of the greatest theme songs in video games. E = MC squared, bitch. It's a combination of sad and inspirational melodies all in one that takes your emotions on this wild roller coaster ride. It's not until near the end of the game that you learn about the king and his backstory of his 2 sons, and why he has sworn to kill all of the humans that come down to the underworld. You were able to learn the story from all the monsters from the underworld. As you encounter them, each one gives you a bit of information about the story. A long time ago, a human fell into the ruins. Injured by its fall, it called out for help. Azrael, the king's son, heard the human's call. He brought the human back to the castle. Over time, Azrael and the human became like siblings. The king and queen treated the human as their own child. The underground was full of hope. Then one day the human became very ill. The sick human had only one request, to see the flowers from their village. But there was nothing we could do. The next day the human died. Azrael, racked with grief, absorbed the human's soul. He transformed into a being with incredible power. Azrael crossed the barrier, carrying the human's body into the sunset back to the village of the humans. Azrael reached the village and found a bed of golden flowers and carried the human onto it. Suddenly, screams rang out. The villagers saw Azrael and thought he killed the child. The humans attacked him with everything they had. Azrael had the power to destroy them, but Azrael didn't fight back. Holding the human child, Azrael walked away. Azrael stumbled home, wounded, entered the castle and collapsed. His dust spread across the garden. The kingdom was in despair. The king and queen had lost 2 children in one night. The humans had once again taken everything from us. The king decided it was time to end the suffering. Every human who falls down here must die. With enough souls, we can shatter the barrier forever. Now, if that sad story wasn't enough to crush your soul, you then encounter Sans at the very end, and he tells you the big twist of the game. He says you will be judged for every action you did. The EXP that was talked about in the beginning of the game stands for execution points, and the love stands for level of violence. So every monster you killed added to this, making you feel like a total dumpster fire at this point if you went through and killed a bunch of monsters. I feel like I got a fair bit of both in my playthrough. I got my killing on, which is why I felt so bad, but I also tried my best to spare as many as I could, not knowing anything about this final twist. You then encounter King Asgore and enter the battle. Once you hit him enough and bring down his HP, you then hear his side of the story. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. He just wants hope and happiness for everyone. His wife left him because she was disgusted that he was hurting humans. You then have the choice to spare or kill him. I decided to spare him, and he went on to tell me that his wife and him were going to take care of me. But in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, shit, I killed your wife. He's gonna kill me. But that plant at the very beginning of the game supposedly died and came back and killed the king. The flower then erases your save file and says it's going to save over it with your death so you can watch yourself die over and over again. Then you engage in the craziest bullet hell fight of the game, which is basically impossible, but you can't die. So you call on help from the other human souls that were killed, and they help you destroy the flower monster. Even though this fight was sorta fixed, it was still so much fun and scary. You can then choose to spare or kill the flower. This is when I learned that there were different routes you could take. The neutral route, which is a combination of killing and sparing, like I did. The pacifist route, which is supposed to be the true ending, where you don't kill anything. And the genocide route, which is pretty self-explanatory. This game is such an awesome story with many different ways to play the game. To truly experience the full story, you pretty much have to play through all the routes, but I don't really want to go too much into the other routes and possible endings because the story is really quite deep and fun to discover. However, I will say that the pacifist route, the true ending, is also the happiest, obviously. But in the genocide route, you find out more about the flower and you fight Sans, who is a tough motherfucker, and you get to hear the song that everyone knows from this game. Also, the speedrun world record for the neutral route is 54 minutes and 50 seconds, done by Shay from America on Linux. Undertale is such an awesome game. It's hard to believe that it's an indie game, made almost entirely by one person. It has such a beautiful and heartfelt story with amazingly simple and satisfying game mechanics. There are so many secrets to discover throughout the world of Undertale, from hidden rooms and special items to hidden characters and additional dialogue. There are so many secrets and hidden lore within the game and game files. One playthrough is just simply not enough. The music is amazing. The story is dark and happy and really whatever you want it to be. I really, really love this game in its entirety. It has been a long time since a game has made me feel like this. So simple and short, yet so amazing. Undertale is a masterpiece. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like. And if this is the first video you've seen from us, feel free to hit that subscribe button. We post videos every week just like this. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. And as always, keep it rad.